have to twist it around actually because I don't know how it's orientating. Oh God, it's all falling apart already. But today I'm going to be telling you all about your self-concept, what it is and how to change it, and why it is so important for your manifestations. So, what is self-concept? Your self-concept is the blueprint for what you are going to manifest in the future. Your self-concept is made up of your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs about you. It's all about you. So what do I think about myself? What do I feel about myself? What do I know about myself to be true? Now, knowing about yourself to be true does not mean it is the truth. So you could think, I'm not worthy. That's not an actual fact. That's how you feel about yourself. You could think, I'm not good enough. Again, that's not an actual fact. That's just how you feel about yourself. Through circumstances in the past, through people that may have influenced this growing up, through your perception of the world so far. That is how we gather our self-concept. Our life kind of shapes how we feel about ourselves sometimes. This video is going to give you the power back. Your self-concept is the blueprint for what you are going to manifest. And so it is really, really important that we have a self-concept that matches the manifestations we want to bring in. Now, by the way, I've got a really tickly throat. So if you see me grabbing a drink of water, please don't mind me. A lot of coaches and teachers will tell you self-concept doesn't matter and you don't need it to manifest. Now, technically, that is true. For reasons I'm going to explain deeper in a minute, it's not always the best way to go about manifestation. Before I knew about self-concept, I could manifest a lot of really good shit. I could manifest great things. By the way, if you are on here live, say hello to me. Let me know you're here. I'd love to see who's watching. But before I learned about self-concept, I am really, really good at manifesting. I know that if I tap into the feeling and I just focus and I do enough focus work, I could bring it into my reality. The trouble was I could not hold it once I had it. So I was on a constant cycle of manifesting these amazing things in and losing them. And every time I would lose them, that would then perpetuate the bad self-concept and the negative beliefs I had about myself. It would make them even worse than they were before. And so I started to convince myself, I just don't get to have nice things. I just don't get to have love. I don't get to keep money. I'm really bad at money, whatever that might be. You can technically manifest without self-concept. I don't know why you would want to, personally. I do not understand people that teach you that nervous system regulation isn't important. Again, it's not a requirement to manifestation at all. It's not a requirement to manifest. However, nervous system regulation drastically improves the quality of your life. So I really don't understand why anybody would convince you not to do it. Secondly, anybody who convinces you not to work on self-concept, why? Why would you not want to feel enough? You have spent 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, maybe 60, 70 years, depending on your age, feeling not good enough and feeling like it doesn't work out for you. Why the fuck would you want to keep that feeling? Because getting that manifestation is not going to drastically solve your self-concept. It's not going to, it might feel good in the moment, but wherever you go, there you are. So as soon as you get this manifestation in, and this is what would happen to me so often. I would get the manifestation in, I'd feel confident for a day or two, and then I'd be so hyperfixated on the fact it was going to go. I'd be so worried because I did not have a self-concept that could hold it. So this is what really used to trouble me. My self-concept was not built to hold the manifestations I was bringing in. So anybody that discourages you from working on your self-concept, I just cannot fathom it. Because when you work on your self-concept, not only does it get easier to manifest, but you're able to hold those manifestations in. So I'm going to have time for questions at the end. I've got my laptop here so I can have a look on my laptop and read the questions on there. But basically, I'm going to go into self-concept for you now. And I've got my whiteboard. So I'm going to take this off a second. So in order to manifest what you want, you need a few things in order. Again, having a high self-concept is not a requirement for you to get the thing in. It is a requirement for you to keep it. It is a requirement if you want manifestation to feel really easy. Because, and I'll tell you why in a minute. I keep saying I'll tell you why in a minute, but I will tell you why in a minute. Sorry, I thought that was for me. So, number one, in order to manifest effortlessly and seamlessly. Oh God, I hope this does it. Oh no, that was my TV. I wonder if this is gonna, no, it's gonna do it backwards, isn't it? Anyway, I'm gonna go for it anyway. You need your beliefs about yourself, which is your self-concept. So your beliefs about you, they have to match the manifestation you want to bring in. So, I'm worthy of love. I am worthy of having money. I am enough. I am capable. I am important. I am chosen. I matter. I deserve the fucking world. That's one of my favourite ones. I deserve the world. There's nothing wrong with me. That's fine. And secondly, your beliefs about the manifestation. And by that, I mean, you cannot believe money is really hard to get and manifesting a large amount of money. You cannot believe I just don't get to have love, all men are cheaters, and then manifesting a great relationship. You cannot have conflicting beliefs when it comes to your manifestation. Now, the thing about self-concept work, you can do belief work about the manifestation till you're blue in the face. However, they have to match. So let's say this is your self-concept and this is your manifestation. And I hope this is the best, oh God, that's manifestation. So you've got the manifestation up here on a pedestal. That manifestation you think is going to come in and it's going to create bliss in your life. You think this manifestation is going to solve all of your problems. You think this is the way forward. You think this is a manifestation that is going to just make your life so complete and so happy. You have this manifestation on a pedestal. You have it way up here. But your self-concept is here. Can you see how they don't match? Your manifestation is up here on a pedestal and your self-concept is down here. So you've got this thing where you think this is amazing. This is the best thing ever. I need to have this thing because it's the best thing ever. But simultaneously, you are believing, I'm not good enough. I don't deserve love. I don't deserve money. I can't have what I want. Manifestation doesn't work for me. It's not my turn to have what I want. I just don't get to have it. That is not a match. That's not a match. That is why raising your self-concept is the answer. Because yes, you can detach from your manifestation and you can try and convince yourself that you don't want it. But the bottom line is, you really want this thing. Like, let's stop bullshitting each other and convincing ourselves to not want the manifestation. That's not going to work. You've got the manifestation on a pedestal and you don't have beliefs that match having that manifestation. So the job is to raise your self-concept so high that your manifestation has no choice but to chase you. When you believe, I am so fucking worthy, I am everything, I am so important, I am chosen, I am wanted, it's illogical to think of any reason why I wouldn't be wanted. It's illogical to think of any reason why I wouldn't get my manifestation. When you operate from this level of awareness, your manifestation has no choice but to reflect that back to you. It has no choice. So our job is to raise our self-concept, because we are going to find it really, really, really hard to manifest this amazing big manifestation in if we feel like shit about ourselves. That's why self-concept work is so important. Now, how do we change our self-concept? The first thing you need to ask yourself is, if I already had my manifestation, what would I believe about myself? What would I believe about myself if I already had this manifestation? This is your golden question. Because if I already had, let's say I want to have £1 million house. This is the manifestation, this is the example. But I don't believe I'm worthy. I don't believe I'm good enough. I don't believe good things happen to me. I don't believe I'm a great business owner. I don't believe money comes easily. So I'm down here in the gutter. That £1 million house is going to stay out of reach for me. And this is where lottery winner syndrome comes in. Because yes, I could win a competition to win that house. But if my self-concept stays in the gutter, I'm going to revert back to wherever that self-concept is, because the universe will always photocopy whatever your self-concept is. So it's really, really important that we work on self-concept, because if not, lottery winner syndrome. So lottery winner syndrome is where somebody's won 10 million on the lottery and within 2 years they've spent it all because their self-concept does not match that amount of wealth. They may have got lucky, something may have happened that made them win the money, but their self-concept was not a match to having that amount of wealth. So they spent it all, they wasted it all. Now they're more depressed than they were before. So if I want this £1 million house, I have to ask myself, you speak the truth, you're amazing. Oh my God, thank you so much. I love you, thank you so much. If I want this £1 million house, I'm gonna ask myself, if I already had that house, what would I believe about myself? That's the first question. I'd believe I can have anything. If I had a £1 million house and I was lying in my luxury bed, my 4-poster bed, that looks like something out of The Great Gatsby, I'd be feeling like the baddest bitch on the planet. I'd be thinking, oh my God, there's nothing I can't manifest. I'm in my £1 million house. I feel amazing. I can do anything. I can have anything. I can be anything. I'm so worthy. I'm so good enough. I'm more than enough. I'm perfect exactly as I am. That's what I'd be thinking, feeling about myself. These are examples. You can use them for your situation. What would I be thinking about the manifestation? So this is the second question. What would I believe about the manifestation? These beliefs also have to be in alignment. Now, if I don't have a good self-concept, I'm going to find it really hard to believe the things I need to believe to get this house. So the things I would need to believe are, I'm so lucky. I'm so capable. I'm the best business owner ever. I'm so good with money. I manage my money amazing. £1 million a month is easy. I have $1 million mind. Of course I could buy a £1 million house. Money comes to me so effortlessly. My mind is worth millions. Everything I touch turns to gold. My business is a fucking gold mine. I would have to believe those things in order to attract this £1 million house. But if my self-concept is in the gutter, if I can't even believe at a bare minimum that I am enough, that I am capable, that I am worthy, how the hell am I going to convince myself that I can have a £1 million house? Has the penny dropped? I hope it has. Now, this is something I figured out a few years ago. Let me just take a sip because I've been rabbiting on for 10 minutes now. So, this is something I figured out a few years ago. I was grieving the loss of my best friend. For some reason, the 1-year anniversary mark really sent me west. I was partying the pain away. My situations with relationships, friendships, toxic as hell, was awful. Then on top of that, I was on universal credit still, recovering from the pandemic because I had a close contact service business. It never fully recovered from the pandemic because the pandemic happened. I was doing eyelash extensions and nobody wanted to come near me, basically. And then my best mate died. So then it was even harder for me to get into my money mindset and my life's working out mindset. And so I was in the gutter at this time 3 years ago. And I'd been researching self-concept work and I've been trying to figure it out. And I just couldn't put all the puzzle pieces together. And then I got really sick of myself. I was sick of scrolling through TikTok, YouTube, podcasts, Instagram, trying to find the latest technique that would promise me results in 3 minutes. I would do the technique and then 2 days later, I'd be pissed off that it hadn't happened. And I just realized this is not going to work. This is not what I need to be doing. And I was sick of waking up every single day, feeling positive for half an hour, like, yes, okay, I can do this. And then by 3 o'clock, I'm hopeless again. Why is it not my turn? I was sick of being on my phone and comparing myself to other people on Instagram, living their life, in relationships, with the money, and I'm laying on the sofa asking, what is fucking wrong with me? Why is it not my turn? Why is it not my turn? That identity was a perfect match for that reality. That was a perfect match. That worries me. Why is it not happening for me? It's not fair. That was perfect for what I was reflecting back. I had to change my circumstances. I had to change my self-concept in order to change my circumstances. I'd try and change in my circumstances. It was not working. I had to change my self-concept. So I set myself a 2-week self-concept challenge with everything that I'd learned researching self-concept. And I was like, in the next 2 weeks, I'm going to make myself feel like this manifestation is inevitable. I wanted to get off universal credit. I wanted to move to Ibiza and I wanted to live off my laptop with this business. Within 3 months of changing my self-concept, that was my reality. Within 3 months, I had a completely brand new life because I drew a line in the sand and I was like, I cannot keep operating from this shiny object syndrome. I cannot keep sitting here wondering why it hasn't happened for me, chasing every TikTok trend, chasing every technique, and then like thinking the universe is going to magically give me my manifestation. I have to change my identity. I have to make my identity match the life I want, the manifestations I want. This is why I'm so passionate about self-concept work, because it changed my life within 3 months. Within 2 weeks, I had a completely different identity. And from that 2-week point, any circumstance that was arising, and there were still unwanted circumstances that popped up, there were still things that weren't in my favor, but I was like, no, this is not my final destination. My identity is somebody who gets what she wants, who has a thriving business, who travels whenever she wants, who lives in Ibiza. This is what I'm accepting. I'm not accepting anything less than what I am programming in my mind. That changed everything for me. It absolutely changed everything for me. Changing my self-concept changed my entire life. And I've been manifesting for 16 years now. I picked up the book The Secret when I was 16 years old. So I was manifesting for almost half my life. I wouldn't say the wrong way, but with a self-concept that was working against me. And that is why I found it so hard. That is why nothing was sticking. I'm going to have a look at my comments now and answer a few of them. Let me just turn this down. Right, so... Hey, always on every call and every live. Oh, Daisy, I love that. Thank you so much, honey. I love your accent. I bet you have an amazing singing voice. It's not the best, but it ain't bad. I have been told I can hold a note. And that's a big compliment. Thank you so much. Let me see if I can do it here so you can see my face. Stop swearing. You're a big girl. You can choose more appropriate language. And you can choose to get off my page. What advice would you have from someone going from 20k a month to barely 5k a month? Okay, so first of all, I would sit down and I would ask myself, what was I believing prior to this drop? Was I telling myself I can't sustain this level of 20k? Was I telling myself I can't handle this? What am I afraid of when it comes to earning 20k a month? So we have negative associations with many things in life. And sometimes the more money we earn, sometimes we can think, oh, I can't handle this. This isn't sustainable. I wasn't meant for this. Like, I'm going to pay so much out in tax. This is a big responsibility. Blah, blah, blah. Who am I to earn so much money? So I would be asking myself, what was I believing negatively before this happened, before this drop in income? Then that's where your magic answers are. From that point, you are then going to flip that and you're going to affirm the opposite. And you are going to program that in daily through self-concept work, through any way, affirmations, scripting, identity work, whatever way you see fit. And you are going to create a new identity and a new standard for your life. I am making 20k a month. It's easy for me to make 20k a month. Or if you want to jump from 10 to 15 to 20, that's absolutely fine. But you are going to program your mind like it is your full-time job. I also strongly recommend nervous system regulation for this. So my favorite is EFT. So I really, really recommend doing EFT, and I do that 2 to 3 times a day on my limiting beliefs. So this can really help as well. Stop buying designer stuff. It's just a logo. I used to have a TV like that. Where do I? What's designer? I wouldn't say Adenola is designer, but I could be wrong. I lost 2 family members in the last 3 months. I'm really, really sorry for your loss. I wouldn't wish grief on my worst enemy. So thank you for that as well, for saying you said it back to me. So thank you. How do you get rid of the time thought? It's taken 5 months. I know it could be more resistance to it. And after the bridge of incidents months ago, I didn't persist until this month. That's why it's taken the 5 months. You've answered your own question, honey. So this is a controversial thing to say. Most people believe in divine timing. With manifestation, it's more about alignment. When your beliefs are in alignment with what you want, that's when it happens. And I think divine timing can feel like a little bit of a crux because we rely on it to we rely on it to soften the blow. It becomes a pacifier as to the work we're not doing or how we're not going all in with ourselves. Now, I don't say that to bash. I'm not a coach that's going to self-blame you and go, you're not doing it and you're not doing it right, da 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 da. I would be, if something has taken me 5 months and I'm doing all the things which you said you're not doing, you said it's only taken you to this month to persist, so that's right, it's going to take a little bit longer. Number one, if we're not persisting and we're not creating a new identity every single day and persisting with that in our assumptions every single day is going to take a lot longer. The second thing I would have you look at is, why don't I want this manifestation? So there's something I was manifesting last year, and I've done this with the car, and I did this with the house, and I did this with anything that's taken me longer than like 3 or 4 months. I can't speak. 1 second. I've got a really, really tickly throat today. Anything that's taken me longer than 3 or 4 months to manifest, because I know how powerful I am at manifesting, I'm like, right, why wouldn't I want that? What am I afraid of when it comes to having this manifestation? You will be shocked by the answers that come up on your page for that. You'll be shocked by your subconscious mind protecting you from this manifestation, and that is the work you need to be doing on those areas. There's no point in affirming I have this thing 50,000 times if you've got a subconscious mind that is trying to protect you from it, if you've got a nervous system that is not capable of having that and holding that, especially if there's an experience where somebody has really, really hurt you in the past, or you've had a really negative experience with money. Your brain is not going to want to replicate that. So your job is convincing yourself that it's safe to have this thing, you can trust to have this thing, and you've got the self-trust to handle it either way. Whether it works out, whether it doesn't, I'm going to be fine. And validating yourself, and that's another reason why self-concept is so important. Thank you everyone that's joining. So weird because I can see myself on the screen as well as on here. I do affirmations for 10 minutes a day, twice a day, 2 EFT on love, and listen to a video about how it happened every day this week. Just started this. I absolutely love that. It has to be a consistent amount of time, like doing it every single day for a long period of time. Or not a long period of time, but you have to make this like non-negotiable as brushing your teeth. Like, I had a really shit day today. I woke up really fed up. I didn't have a great night's sleep. I missed boot camp this morning because I woke up late. So my start to the day was like crap. However, because I am so passionate about my self-concept and the identity I'm going to adopt for my future life, I still listen to, I was programming my mind. Doing 10 minutes twice a day of affirmations, that's not enough for you to really reprogram your subconscious mind. If you have really, really stubborn beliefs, or you have really bad programming, I would be listening to an hour of affirmations a day, listening to sleep affirmations, or listening to subliminals at night. And again, I'm not saying you're not doing enough. I'm just saying we need to tweak your manifestation routine. And that is also one of the biggest ways this is why I created the 2-week self-concept challenge for myself, because I was doing a few techniques here and there, a few bits and bobs here and there, and nothing was moving because I wasn't creating that solid identity work. By the way, you can get the 2-week self-concept challenge anywhere on my page. I'll link it below when I've finished. But I had to create a solid manifestation mindset routine every single day that was going to lock me into that identity, that was going to keep that self-concept regardless of what the circumstances look like and regardless of how my day went. And that is what happened today. So even though I started out feeling really rubbish this morning, I put on my affirmations. I still did my affirmation routine. I still did my EFT. Because what's the alternative? I'm going to go back into the life I don't want, or I'm going to move forward to the life I do want. Yeah, I persisted each month, but I know I haven't persisted enough for it to come into reality. I do sleep affirmations, subliminal you made for me too. I don't want you to have the mindset of I haven't persisted enough, because that's going to turn into a self-blame of I haven't done enough. It's my fault it hasn't manifested. I want you to see it as rather feedback. If nothing's changed, what do I need to continue with in order for this to turn around? And I know what you're manifesting, Daisy, and you know my answer to this anyway. Self-concept work, self-concept work, self-concept work, self-concept work, self-concept work, self-concept work. If you are, okay, how can I say this without talking about your manifestation? If you are constantly living in the opposite of how you would feel if you had it, then you are persisting in what you don't want. So it's really, really important that we persist in the reality, and we future rehearse the reality we do want through beliefs, through feeling work, and we future rehearse the reality we do want. In any given moment, manifestation is a game of focus, and it's a game of subconscious mind. We have to get our subconscious mind on board with our self-concept, with our beliefs, and we have to focus on what we actually want to happen. And if there is something in our life that isn't what we want, we have to take our focus off it, and we have to change focus to what we do want, and we have to future rehearse that reality that we do want. Oh my God, my first live of yours. I haven't done a live on TikTok, on YouTube for 3 years. Maybe, yeah, 3 years. I used to do my EFTs on live. But I haven't done one for a long, long time. I thought this would be easier today than me setting up my camera, editing, and I thought I can answer questions in real time then. What advice would you give if you've had a bad self-concept for 7 years? Subconscious reprogramming. My self-concept was 30 years deep. Like, I hated myself before I started this work. I genuinely hated myself. I remember lying in bed, and this is not long after I'd got cheated on, so this was like 7 years ago. I remember lying in bed almost to the point of punching myself, saying, I fucking hate you, Lydia. Of course this has happened to you. I fucking hate you, Lydia. I can't stand you. That's how I was speaking to myself. My self-concept was so in the gutter, I can't even describe it. I started listening to sleep affirmations every single night. I started listening to sleep affirmations every single night. I started listening to affirmation tapes every single day. And I just programmed my mind like it was my full-time job. I started scripting out the reality I wanted to have. I started listening to that script. I recorded that script. This is something I still do now. I made a podcast on it the other week. I programmed my mind like it is my full-time job, because that is where your results are going to come from. That is how you override the negative self-concept of 7 years. Speaking about focus, I get intrusive thoughts. It's always the same thought. I've told myself intrusive thoughts don't manifest, but I can't stop thinking about it sometimes. Any tips on how to ignore it? Face it. Face it. Intrusive thoughts, number one, are common. Your brain is going to bring up intrusive thoughts from time to time. The more you give meaning to them, the more they're going to keep perpetuating themselves. So when we get an intrusive thought and we go, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, get out of my head. Just let it land. Let it come in. Let it stay. We have to kind of get a little bit comfortable with the discomfort of an intrusive thought. I still get them now. I've had them today. I'm tired. I haven't drank enough. I didn't get enough sleep. My intrusive thoughts today are probably worse than they are on a normal day. And I'm ill. Ask it what it's trying to tell you. Intrusive thoughts are like a toddler in a supermarket throwing a tantrum. Ignoring them doesn't work. They're going to scream louder. They're going to throw everything out the trolley. They're going to stamp their feet. They're going to get on the floor. They're going to scream. And they're going to embarrass you. Sit down with yourself. What is my intrusive thought? How can I disprove this? Use logic to disprove this thought. How do I know this isn't true? How do I know just because I think it does not mean it's going to manifest? Feelings are not facts. Thoughts are not facts unless we persist in them hard enough and long enough. Sit down with it and disprove it. And every single time it comes up, do this exercise. Sit down with it, disprove it. Like, regulate your nervous system in real time. Don't try and ignore it. Don't try and say, oh yeah, it doesn't mean it's going to manifest. Because that's true. But the more you face it and you face it head on, the less power it has over you. And also, this is a real, this is one that some people might not like to hear. But ask yourself, okay, even if that was true, then what? I'm still going to be okay. Even if this intrusive thought was the truth and this was absolutely going to happen, how do I know I would be okay regardless? When you do those exercises, it will stop popping up as much. I also really, really recommend nervous system regulation for intrusive thoughts. Nervous system regulation is somatic dancing, EFT, meditation, breath work. A lot of coaches will talk against nervous system regulation. I don't understand why, because they make the quality of your life so much better. I really, really cannot fathom anybody who would convince you otherwise, to be honest, because you don't have to do that in order to manifest. You don't have to regulate your nervous system in order to manifest. I am a naturally anxious girly. I used to be so anxious. And when I look back through my 20s, I thought I was skinny. When I look back, I was ill. I was making myself sick because of how my thoughts would consume me and with my bad self-concept. Regulating my nervous system, so doing EFT daily, completely changed how my mind works. My intrusive thoughts don't come in as much. And the thing is, when your old reality tends to fight you back. Your old self-concept tends to fight you back. So when you're affirming something, until you're blue in the face and your nervous system or your subconscious mind doesn't want to believe it, it's going to fight you back on it. The more you regulate your nervous system, the more you are convincing your subconscious mind that it is safe to have this new belief. The subconscious mind does not like change. It likes what's familiar, even if what's familiar is being broke and being ghosted and being unwanted. If that's familiar, it knows how to deal with it. It doesn't want this new belief system. The more you regulate your nervous system, the less intrusive thoughts you'll have. Thank you, Lydia. That was really helpful, and I'll try it out. I need to stop these thoughts. You are so welcome. You are so welcome. Any advice on how to come the fear of being seen? I have big ambition, but every time I try to post online, I get so scared. I know it sounds silly, but I clearly have blocks. Yeah, so I have fear of being seen as well. And it came up a lot for me last year. And that's wild to say because I've got 100,000 followers on TikTok and nearly 10 on Instagram now. So you'd think, oh, she doesn't have a fear of being seen. I do. Changing my beliefs about what being seen means is one of the biggest things I did. So right now, your brain has a perceived threat of being seen. And we have a lot of basic human needs when it comes to our subconscious mind and what we need in life. Love and human connection is probably the most fundamental basic human need that there is. So right now, your brain is going, if I'm seen, I'm going to get ostracized. People are going to laugh at me. I'm going to be made fun of. That means I'll lose connection. That means I'll lose friends. That means people won't want to be around me. That means that your brain is experiencing a very visceral threat right now, a perceived threat, but one that feels very, very real to your brain. We have to reframe what being seen means to your mind. So I used to write down, what does being seen mean for me now? Why is it safe to be seen? Why do I love being seen? I get to change people's lives every single day. I get to travel 8 times a year. I get to work with brands now and like I get sent brand stuff. I get to like wake up whenever I want. Like, yeah, okay, today's been really shit. I woke up late, but I don't have a 9 to 5. Like I work from my phone. How amazing. That's incredible. That's because of being seen. If I'm not seen, I don't get to have the life I want. And I've got a friend and she'd always say to me, like, I just don't get how you're so consistent on social media. You're just so consistent. And I'm like, I make it non-negotiable. Like, I literally think to myself, if I don't post, I don't eat. Like, I know that sounds really dramatic, but if I don't post on my social media, I don't get the life I want. And the life I want is more important to me than the fear of what some idiot in a group chat is going to say to me. And I've been trolled online. Like, I had one on this, a few comments ago, someone telling me to stop swearing. Like, it's 2026, get a grip. Like, it does come with the territory. It's nowhere near as bad as it used to be. My trolling, I've been doing this for 10 years, right? I used to do Facebook Lives in 2016. Somebody commented on one of my videos saying, who the hell would listen to her? Look at the state of her teeth. This was like before I got my teeth done. Somebody who comments that is not happy within themselves. And the way I kind of counteract fear of being seen as well is these people don't even like themselves. Why would I care if they're laughing at me? They can laugh at me all the way to the bank. So I'm going to get over this fear of being seen. There's an amazing creator called Dylan James. He's just created a meditation around fear of being seen. And he did like actual content. He did a video on it as well. So I recommend watching those. Any meditations, any EFT on it, but also just reframing what fear of being seen means to you. Right now, being seen is equal to a threat in your mind. The more we can change that, like people have this around money, they have this around relationships, like they say they want to manifest their dream relationship, but they haven't let go of the fact they were cheated on 10 years ago, and so they're associating love with pain. So no matter how much they say they want to manifest love, they're associating love to so much pain. We have to work with reframe, and this is why the 2-week self-concept challenge is so powerful, because the first day I'm getting you to reframe your beliefs. Like, it's not just here's a bunch of Pinterest affirmations, go and copy and paste them, go say it. Like, no, I'm teaching you how to reframe your beliefs and your negative associations to having what you want. That's why it's so powerful. When you can reframe your limiting beliefs and your negative associations, you make so much space for this manifestation to come in. And I had that when I was manifesting my Mercedes. I could not figure out for the life of me why I could not manifest it. It didn't make sense to me how it wasn't manifesting. I just couldn't understand it because I was doing all the work. Like, I was doing the affirmations, I was visualizing it, and I was like, I should have it by now. What's the missing piece? So I sat down with myself and I was like, why would I not want this? And I was like, oh, I don't believe I can look after it. And that would feel really painful. If I got that and I ruined it because I think I ruin everything, then that would feel really painful. And who am I to have that car? I had to reframe my limiting beliefs. I had to reframe what having a Mercedes would mean to me. It could have been any car. I could have manifested a Ford Ka. It would have been the same beliefs. So I had to reframe how I was viewing having the manifestation. I received it within a month of doing that. Trolls don't even mean half the things they say. They just say it for a reaction. Yeah, and they're not doing anything with their life. Like, if you've been on my Instagram or my TikTok, you know my slogan is get a fucking life, babe. Somebody sat at home trolling. They're not happy. They're not happy. So, if anything, I pity them. Like, I can't, like, if I don't like something on the internet, I scroll or I block it or I just put not interested. Like, that's what a normal self-concept would do. If you're feeling the need to comment on something, it's a big indicator you need to get a life, babe. I really appreciate your in-depth answer. You're so welcome. How do you get rid of the fear of change? I always had this when I'm comfortable, and I think that's why I don't stick to a routine long enough unless it's the gym. Again, it's reframing what... Oh, gosh, I can't speak. Sorry. I do apologise, everyone. It's reframing by fear of change. So, like, what am I afraid of when it comes to change? What am I making change mean in my head? Is there been an example in the past? Daisy, you're in the Self-Concept Club, so you can go back to day 1 of the Self-Concept Challenge. Ask yourself, do the reframing exercises and ask yourself, where in my life did this first come about? When did a big change first happen? When did I first have this big change? What did I make that mean? What have I made it mean ever since? And it's just a case of reframing. Honestly, I think sometimes, this is why I'm not anti-robotic affirming. Now, if you've been on my page and you've watched my content before, I'm not a big believer in robotic affirming till you're blue in the face. This does not mean I think it doesn't work. I don't think it works for everybody. I think if you have a high self-concept and a great nervous system, this works fantastically. You probably manifest within 3 days. If you have a nervous system that is overprotective, on high alert, anxiously attached, robotically affirming is not always your best friend because your brain's going to fight you back really hard on it. That's why reframing exercises are so powerful, because you're, instead of forcing and hammering in a belief, you're just rejigging it a bit. Does that make sense? I've just started the 2-week self-concept challenge again. Oh my God, you're going to love it. I redo it every other month now. Like, because your self-concept is going to change and you're going to have new manifestations coming in. And so I'm always adapting. What do I believe? What do I believe about the things I want to manifest? Like, I've just started to receive brand packages. And I have 100,000 followers. I've had 100,000 followers for a year on TikTok. Technically, that should, like, in my head, like, I see creators with a quarter of that amount going on brand trips and receiving PR packages. I had this huge belief that no one would want to work with me because I'm into manifestation and my content's not good enough and da. I spent the first 3 years of this business with that belief, and I didn't really do a lot of work to change it, even though I said I wanted brand work and stuff like that, because I just felt like I've got the followers, it would be a really fun add-on to the business. So I had to start working on my self-concept around my content is amazing. It's goldmine. It's perfect exactly as it is. My clients, my audience love it. They get amazing results. Brands love to work with me because of my energy, blah, blah, blah. Once I started doing that, now the interest has come in. So it's really just a case of reframing every so often and just maneuvering it for each manifestation. Hey, Lydia, how do you know that you're living in the end state or the new identity enough to get your manifestation? Or also, how do I deal with despair on down days? I hope you feel better soon. Despair and down days are going to happen. I'm not a coach that's going to tell you to ignore the 3-day. Like, deny it and don't accept it as your final destination. But if you need a down day, have a down day. If you're having a recurring down day, that is your brain signaling to you that something is wrong. What I mean by that is, when my arm, say if I cut my arm here and it bled, that would send signals to my brain, help. The pain signal is there for a reason. That pain signal is to say to my brain, you need to look at your arm because it's bleeding. We don't do this when it comes to our mental state though. If there is something that is reoccurring, that is upsetting you and bringing you into despair, that is something you need to deal with, and that's something you need to work on, reframe. Why does this keep coming up for me? How can I reframe this? How can I change my beliefs around this? So I don't recommend in ignoring feelings or bad days. I recommend working with them, working through them, letting them pass. Because usually the first time when you first start ignoring things, it just builds up. Doesn't really technically work. Again, unless you've got a very good nervous system and you've got very high self-concept, then you've kind of got a bit to play with. How do you know that you're living in the end state? You're not thinking about it 24/7. That's how I know that I'm living in the end state. I'm not thinking about it 24/7. If you already had your manifestation, you wouldn't be thinking about it. Once I got that car, I barely think about it anymore. Unless every time I see it and I get in it, I say, I fucking love you. You're one of the best things that's ever happened to me. I love you so much. You're so sexy. You're my baby girl. That's what I say to my car. I love her so much. But I don't think about it the other 23 hours of the day that I'm not in it, because I have it and it's mine. You don't think about your best friend. You just know she's your best friend. You just know she's your, you don't sit there worrying all day, is that my best friend? So no, you know it. You don't sit there wondering what your name is all day. Is my name Lydia? Has someone changed my name? No, I know my name is Lydia. So you don't think about it. So this is why they get in a fucking life, baby. So I have like a 3-point formula for my manifestation process. Self-concept work, nervous system regulation, and getting a life, babe. The getting a life part is the easiest way to detach. And that is basically filling up your life with fun things right now, exactly as it is. We're not waiting on this manifestation to validate us. We're not waiting on this thing to come and save us. We're not going to wait until this thing happens for us to feel better. By getting a life, I mean adding fun, purpose, joy, fulfillment into your everyday life. It doesn't cost anything. It doesn't have to cost anything. Like, I've actually made a video on this today. What I found a little bit wild. My account has blown up this week. It's gone viral again because I've been telling people to get a life, babe. There's a very, very small minority of comments that are just, well, I can't because I can't. How can I get a life? Cool, don't then. Keep your excuses. It's no shade on me if you don't get a life. It's literally your life. So don't throw excuses at the getting a life, babe part, because people make detaching so much more complicated than it is. Detaching is just being present in the moment and enjoying your life until the manifestation turns on. So I would have a solid manifestation routine. By solid manifestation routine, I mean something that is programming my mind every single day for the beliefs I want to have. Sleep affirmations, listening to affirmation audios, scripting, pick whatever you want. It's going to be different for different people. Robotically affirming, if that's what you want to do. Whatever it might be. Like, if that's what floats your boat, do that. It has to be an every single day thing. That's how I know I'm doing enough. I know if I'm doing my manifestation, my mindset, my self-concept routine every single day, I know I'm doing enough. And I know that every single day that is shifting me further and further and further into the life I do want. I know every single little thing I do is pushing me further. So I trust in the practice itself. So I wouldn't focus on living on the end in terms of I have to feel ecstatic 24/7 in order for it to manifest, because that's not what living in the end means. Living in the end, most of the time, means you're not thinking about it. Like, there's a Neville Goddard talks about the naturalness of having it. And if you already had it, you would not be thinking about it that much. You would just know you have it. Hey, Lydia, when you start leveling up, is it normal for bad things to still come in, like people, but you reject them quicker or get exposed quicker? Yeah, so it's like, some people call it the purge. I call it the manifestation echo. And basically, if you think about your thoughts from 6 months ago, 3 months ago, sometimes there's still remnants of that belief system coming into your life when you're leveling up. I'm so sorry, my throat is killing me. I'm only going to answer a few more questions and then I'm going to get off because my throat's really starting to close up. But basically, the manifestation echo, and I think it's, I can't remember if it's Bashar or Osho that talks about this, but it's the remnants of your old self-concept and your old identity. And your job is to look at them and say, I don't like this. I don't like this is turning up for me. However, I know this is not my final circumstance. I know this is not my final destination. I'm going to choose to not subscribe to this. This feels shit. I don't like what's in front of me, but I know what is coming is better than what's in front of me. And I'm going to stick to my new reality, and I'm going to stick to my new blueprint, and I'm going to stick hook or by crook on what I'm getting out of life. Oh my gosh. I think I'm allergic to something in this room because it's worse when I'm in this living room. And it's my living room, in my own living room. Being on this self-concept on and off for years, and sometimes circumstances that come around are worse than when I didn't know about self-concept. Yeah, I can feel that. Nervous system regulation is going to be your best friend. The more you can regulate your nervous system, the less your mind and your old reality is going to fight you back on it. People who say can't are normally people who are happy with their existence and just like to moan. Could not agree more. It's my birthday. Oh my God, happy birthday. I love birthdays. Thank you so much for your reply. I really like practicing EFT and listening to sleep manifestations for the most part. Rampages in a conversations when I'm spiraling. Is that okay? That's perfect. I'm so proud of you for already doing the work that I would tell you to do. That's perfect. Thanks, doll. Get well soon. Thank you. I'm going to end the live there, guys. Thank you all for joining me. This has been my first YouTube live in 3 years. Like I said, the self-concept challenge is going to be available on my page. I'm going to tag it below in the comments after the video is posted. But you can work on your self-concept every single day, and that's how it's going to shift. That is going to be your golden ticket into the life you want by shifting your self-concept to what you would believe if you already had the manifestation. Let me give you some affirmations to leave with. My 3 favorite affirmations for self-concept are I am enough. Or when you're feeling sassy, I am perfect exactly as I am. Some people might have trouble saying that first. So say I am enough. I've always been enough. I'm perfect exactly as I am. They're all kind of the same affirmation. Number 2, there is nothing wrong with me. So whenever I'm having that moment of, oh my God, why is it not happening for me? Why am I not good enough? Lydia, there's nothing wrong with me. The first time I said this to myself, I cried. I was sobbing. Hand on my heart, there's nothing wrong with me. I'm going to figure this out. The fact I don't have the manifestation, that doesn't mean anything about me. It just means I need to figure it out. I'm going to figure it out. There's nothing wrong with me. There's nothing wrong with me as a person. I'm perfect exactly as I am. I'm a nice person. I'm a good-hearted person. I'm enough. And the third one is, I deserve the fucking world. That's a very sassy one. I started saying that for weeks on end. And honestly, this is about, I want to say 7 years ago now. It was during the pandemic, so it was in 2020. That's when I manifested my first home. I just kept saying, I deserve the fucking world. I do deserve the fucking world. I was living on my mum and dad's sofa. I don't put that in my story. You know, like when I say my story online, I don't talk about the part where I was literally living on my mum and dad's sofa during the pandemic, in a conservatory, on a hot leather sofa, with no income, no money, and I manifested my first home from that spot because I trusted that what was coming was better than what I'd been. And I just kept telling myself I deserved the world. But I don't put that in because it makes my mum and dad sound like they didn't have the space for me. And they just downsized the house. It was just unfortunate that the pandemic happened and I had to move in with them. I should put it in my story, make it more dramatic. But thank you everybody for joining me. Thank you for listening. I know I'm always asked so many questions. You're always the truth. Oh, you're so welcome, honey. I hope you all have a fantastic night and I'll see you for the next live. I'm going to make these more regular. How do I get off? Thank you all for